Da 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 da. Breaking news.
Out of 10 podcast reviews the 45-minute long game, starring Christopher Choffle-Sethelston and Billy Tyler. This is Out of 10 Podcasts with your host, Rupert, and his old pal, Buddy
Elliot.
Hello.
That's really amazing that Billy Piper has the same. It sounds like Tyler.
Did that actually sound legit?
Was that? Yeah, Tyler and Piper. Did they do that so that she didn't like fluff her lines or anything? Because obviously she was a bit, new to acting and stuff.
I don't know. I doubt it.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to avoid as much as possible talking about the episode we're about to watch because I'm really nervous.
I've not been this nervous. I'm more nervous than I was at the first podcast. Because this episode is
equally as weird.
This is the weird. It's the weird. Is it the weirdest episode this series? Probably.
It's the ginger bastard child of the series.
You can't say that.
It is. No, it is because it's the one that no one. There's been a bit of a resurgence of people defending it nowadays, which is really good. But at the time, it was the one that everyone just went, eh.
Yeah, no
okay.
one thought it was bad. I might stress there was never a backlash. I remember the first backlash against an episode of Doctor Who being actually bad was Love and Monsters.
Yeah, but that was completely well-founded.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember this episode being pretty good. We'll see.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is nothing like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still series 1, Like, it's decent. It still serves a great purpose.
I think the brain spike thing is probably the only classic thing that people will remember about it.
Oh yeah, people do remember
most
that.
Normal people.
Yeah,
people do remember that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, and it sets up Satellite 5, but that kind of blends with Bad Wolf, so people don't really remember it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a really strange episode to have so much set up in an episode that's really inconsequential.
It's not.
It would be like if the finale of Series 5 was set in Venice. In that palace where they went once.
Mm-hmm.
It's really strange to have set that up. In this episode.
My dad always gets Satellite 5 and Platform 1 confused. Anyway,
What's Platform 1?
That's the end of the world.
Oh yeah. Oh,
same kind of
what
thing.
An idiot.
But
yeah. So
it's because
basically really the only important thing to say is that people didn't really see the sort of significance of the episode at the time. That's probably the biggest, most important thing to say, really.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the other episodes felt relevant in different ways. This one, I think, has been noticeably more relevant in hindsight.
Yeah.
Compared to other episodes.
You've also got
maybe that's something to do with
other notable things. Obviously, is Adam and how this episode set about to show to young audiences what kind of companion the Doctor wouldn't take with him while they're setting up the program, and also Simon Pegg's inclusion.
Yeah, and he's brilliant
because he's a big name.
But I think the thing about Adam is something that you wouldn't usually pick up on the first time watching. I certainly didn't when I was a kid watching it.
Yeah,
I just thought he was an annoying little brat, which of course he is. But
yeah, I think Tasmin Grieg's in this episode as well.
Who's that?
She's quite like a well-known. It might be Tamsin Grieg or Greg or something. She's like a quite well-known theatre actress. Yeah, she used to do a comedy series or something. I don't know. We'll check at the end.
No, clearly.
I'm not sure. But
I've done no research before that, so I don't know what to say.
But weird thing about
episode's going to weird me
about
out.
the long game is that it's the second appearance of a Shaun of the Dead actor in series 1, which isn't that notable, I guess. But
Oh, because Harriet Jones.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it. The other thing to talk about as well, if we're talking about the whole Platform 1 thing, is what you and I were discussing the other evening off the air, which was that. Which was.
Are we allowed to discuss that?
Yeah, what
the interweb?
Are we allowed to share our private lives with our many fans?
Thank you. Yeah.
So what we were discussing was the fact that the Ninth Doctor never leaves Earth's orbit.
Right.
So he's always on Earth or in the orbit of Earth.
Oh, I see. I think when Satellite 5 never leaves Earth orbit, I was like, yeah, that's the point of a satellite. So the Doctor is a satellite. Yeah, it is really bizarre how you don't even think about it most of the time, but it's kind of bizarre how un-sci-fi the series is in that respect.
Well, it makes it just not
really
necessarily
bizarre.
un-sci-fi, but it makes it very Earth-centric and it's the T. Davies thing where T. Davies is so attached to Earth, and the first time they go to a different planet, it's New Earth.
Yeah,
and then they're not. So they're not really on an actual other planet per se until the Impossible Planet.
Yeah,
which is
and
as
that's
far.
like an asteroid
yeah, exactly.
Planet,
Well, it's as far away as you can go, as well. Like
Yeah.
it's ages away.
So yeah, that's bizarre.
But yeah, I think we should probably just watch this. I think you can tell that like.
We have no idea what to expect, to be honest.
Yeah.
In terms of quality or anything, I've no
probably
idea.
seen this episode as many times as I've seen the other ones as well, and I still, I like it. I just never really know where I am with it. So let's see what happens. I'm really not prepared mentally for this. I'm just not ready to watch this episode.
No, I'm the same, because this and The Unquiet Dead were the two that I hadn't really touched in several years. So I'm just terrified for what this might do.
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
Solar flare activity has
solar flares, classic.
Yeah.
Did they talk about solar flares in the End of the World? Because solar flares are literally a huge thing in this series.
It was sun filters. Solar flares is like the biggest plot excuse for something
going
wrong. We can't do anything. Why? Solar flares.
But the solar flares happen. They help destroy like the status of Earth in Bad Wolf, don't they?
So it's 200,000. It's a spaceship.
Will they disrupt the controller
over there? Off you go.
from hearing anything?
Yeah. Oh, she's got a great jumper on. This is the best Rose jumper, I think.
Oh my god.
It's very unusual, and it's
a jumper?
I don't know what it is really. It's so 2005.
Question.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, look at that digital zoom.
I'd say we're around the year
She's quality in this. She's in her stride now. She's used to this.
Engines.
Well, I love this.
He seems thoroughly underwhelmed more than anything.
What, Adam?
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is like a shithole.
Yeah. Why'd you take me here?
Yeah.
I haven't been outside for years.
Oh, I want to go see the stars. Let's go back and see Earth again.
Yeah.
The fourth great and bountiful human empire.
That is classic.
Planet Earth at its height.
That's why no one wants it
Covered
from the
with
celebration
megacities,
spots.
5 moons, population 96 billion.
Yeah, I think Eccleston's completely like just rolling off the fact that Rose sleeps around, you know. Kronkburger.
I want to know what a Kronk actually looks like.
Yeah, that's something they should bring back.
Yeah.
With pyjamas. He says with pyjamas, that is.
Did he?
Kronkburger with pyjamas, I think.
Was a show enough? Your history's not as good as you thought.
Okay, the doctor's getting it wrong.
Well, obviously.
Oh, his history is perfect. They are quality in this.
Planets, millions of species. Where are they?
Good question. Actually, that is a good
He suddenly likes him. It's really weird.
Well, he's only likes Adam.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's really odd.
No, you just need a bit.
Oh, this is so important to Doctor Who canon. This is the first time he uses his
Don't spend it all on sweets.
stuff on the cash
Yeah.
machine. You know, he uses a Sonic on the cash machine like he does in Runaway Bride.
The thing is, Adam,
Do you think maybe the Doctor existed in Weimar Germany, so he caused all the hyperinflation?
Quite possibly.
Creating loads of money.
Yeah, I mean, he caused the Great Fire of London,
is
so
that just mistake?
You're gonna get a smack, you are.
She is obsessed with talking about
she's gonna get a
smacking
smack
people.
later. Yeah.
She really is like her brother.
Oh, we're gonna get the Bad Wolf. Not sorry, what I'm saying.
Hey,
Yeah,
Fraser
Bad
Byrne.
Wolf TV.
Oh. He's pregnant. Oh, classic Jack.
Yeah,
I get it.
Jack loves getting
Broadcast
pregnant.
the news.
We are the news.
Maybe it's because in the future men can get pregnant.
We write it, package it, and sell
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Shown that
oh.
graphically.
Peg.
Broadcasting everywhere.
Oh, we love Peggy. We love Peggy.
Is wrong.
Sort of beef.
This has got a really original TARDIS team vibe to this episode. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like I'm watching students going on like a kind of travelling holiday, and it's kind of cute.
Why would it be students?
You know, just
Doctor gave it a bit of a top. Honestly, try it. Go on.
How does it know when to phone?
Is there a code for planet?
don't think about it.
How does it doesn't accidentally phone her when she's like in her 80s? And she's like, haven't been here for 25 years. And the doctor's like, no shit, done it
Are you
again.
still on that parallel universe?
I'm fine, and I'll call you later.
Why would he call his mum later when he should call her mum? It's really getting to him being in space, isn't it?
Yeah.
Body behave.
Oh, this is classic.
Inspection.
Oh, it's a
How do
TARDIS.
you want it? By the book?
Oh, it is very kind of old style.
Okay, so.
No round
ladies,
things.
Gentlemen, multi-sex, undecided or robot.
Fair
My
enough.
name is Kafka Santini.
You think it would have changed
David.
even more by that
Over
time?
the sea, in
You wouldn't
case
be
you're
able to say anything, I don't know.
Praising me, and please.
Yeah.
This episode is actually already a lot better than I remember, just saying.
That is classic.
Yeah, absolutely iconic. Well, maybe not iconic. I don't know, it's definitely
It's
classic.
fairly iconic.
Yeah.
2.
It's kind of underused in a way.
I tell you what, no, it is underused because they could bring it back. whenever they wanted,
It could
and
be
it would work.
like a society sort of thing. That loads of
Reports from every
places do it.
city,
I
every
tell you what,
country,
why has
every
Doctor Who
club,
never gone back to this period of
every
time
kitchen
where
sink.
Earth is down? Why
She
not?
becomes
This
part
is
of the
foreshadowing
cycle.
streaming.
Her brain is the computer.
That's amazing.
Oh my goodness,
Streaming
yeah.
into her head.
Nah, she wouldn't remember.
Wow,
anything.
this makes this episode feel
It's
really
too
old.
much. Her head would blow up.
Yeah.
Like,
The brain
oh,
No, but it makes it feel more like
As soon as it closes, she
Black Mirror
forgets.
before Black Mirror.
yeah.
What about all these?
Why do all their hands fit in the things? Do you think that they have them specially moulded for each person, or that you can only work at Satellite 5 if you're a certain like body type, if your hands are a certain
Inside that room, which one?
like
Well, they're all
shape?
human, so I don't see why not.
Yeah, but some people have really thick fingers, you know, or like really small hands, you
Come
know.
on, show me. Who is it?
Are you adding that to your stand-up routine?
You alright?
That's brutal. You're so rude.
No, but this technology.
I bet Simon Pegg loves working up
This
there.
technology's
You know why?
wrong.
Why?
Because he's spaced.
Trouble?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, sir. Yeah. Her data was encrypted, so there's no way we could.
Edgar Wright in the ceiling.
Yeah. Classic dialogue.
Absolutely.
Oh. So that's the same guy who does the Daleks.
Yeah, Nicholas Briggs.
What must it be like living with him? You must like just if you have to disappear into his role.
Imagine if he got like drunk or
How
something.
is it, honey? Yeah, just come and going. What is it, honey? Don't you understand when I say I want a cup of coffee?
Wow. Is that for your stand-up routine?
How did you manage that? I'm
Yep,
above
thanks,
you.
Rupert.
All right, I'll hug anyone.
Oh, he's such a hugger now. Look.
Oh, think how much he'll change in a few generations.
Yeah, well, she's...
Oh,
He's already planning to be a dickhead about it.
he is. At this point, I think
Yeah.
he is. He's a really clever guy. He's got
It's gonna
loads of
take a better man than me
GCSEs and
to
A
get us where we
levels.
need to.
Take the TARDIS key, you know, just in case it gets a bit too much.
Yeah, like it's not weird in there.
Oh. Wow, well done, Rose.
He's really rude and horrible. You can tell.
Yeah. Well, and Rose is a bit of an idiot as well.
Yeah, she's feeling well awkward about bringing him along to be fair.
She was really clever in the last episode.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you know.
Now she's just gone back to being an absolute
Say
moron.
goodbye. Once you go to floor 500, you never come back.
It's like being a cow. Can't get downstairs.
Is that a thing with cows?
Yeah, they can't walk downstairs.
Mighty cow defeated by a flight of stairs.
Flight of stairs.
How did it jump over the moon then?
Not calling her a cow.
No one
I'm
gets
just,
to 500 except for
saying
the
that.
chosen
Yeah,
few.
doesn't matter.
What, Suki? I actually love Suki. I think she's great. I don't know why.
She's the classic honest journalist person
Yes.
who is ultimately always going to get screwed over, and
Oh, this is one of those
Captured.
sci-fi journalism films.
it's like hell, but it's cold.
You know when she goes, Well, I guess this is cool. I wonder if you went to the bottom floor, if it'd be really hot down there.
Yeah, it is. That's the point.
Oh,
Because
that's cool.
they're venting all of the energy into cooling the upstairs because the Jagerfest produces so much heat.
It's a really cool set. Oh,
Yeah.
I tell you what, this episode is showing me is that the level this series was on, because this is actually a really brilliant episode. And so the fact that it was comparably bad
Says a lot.
says volumes. How cool different would this episode be if when she went upstairs, it was like old Kronkburger salesmen, and they're like, my recipe has been stolen, and I can no longer get down the stairs, because I am a cow.
Kronkburgers aren't the best. They used to be better in my day.
Yeah.
100% Kronk.
Yeah.
None of this Venzemulon shit they put in it now.
It's pajamas in there. I feel literally insane.
What's next? Beef milkshake?
Yeah. Wow. Look at these cold people who, manage media corporations.
Ooh.
Yeah, they just want to lie about, the Iraq War and stuff, and they just want to hack people's phones, man.
My name is Suki McRae Cantrell. I was
He
born
clicks, so it's not just the heads.
89
Clicking does
in the
everything.
independent Republic of
Yeah.
Morocco.
Ben Stiller should be in this. He invented the clicker, but he got beaten by the clapper.
And archaeology.
That's still you.
Oh, yeah, she was in Rambo. Sorry.
She's holding a gun like an absolute... Look at her. She's going
Yeah,
mental.
they don't get gun training
Ah!
in Doctor Who.
Control satellite 5.
See what I mean? It's so weird. It really weirds me out. Imagine
Yeah.
acting that. It'd be so odd. Like, she comes across as an absolute android.
What she said. Oh, wow. That's Good call forward, nicely.
Freedom
Thanks.
Foundation has been monitoring.
I answer to the editor-in-chief.
I love it. I have to refer this upwards.
Who
This
is
is a
he?
great
Where
joke.
is he?
It's a very Cornetto trilogy joke, like just a really bad pun.
If you don't mind,
Overseeing everything.
I'm going to have to refer this upwards.
I mean, literally.
You want to get the Chief Inspector to come all the way down here?
Yeah. Oh wow! Oh wow! What an edit! What an edit! You're gonna have to see what the team will make of this.
Yeah.
Oh, they should have done an edit with her screaming as the team. I tell you what, I bet the editor's really good on these like little computers and stuff.
In the 21st century.
I bet he knows all of the keyboards shortcuts.
Microprocessing.
You know. What's wrong, Adam? They've taken a shortcut before. I bet he's really good at jumping the firewalls, actually.
Look, and the price of space walk doubled, so that kept the visitors away.
Foreigners
Oh,
and
and the
stuff.
government on
You know.
sacrifice collapsed, so that lot stopped coming.
Brexit, I don't know. That hasn't
Yeah.
happened yet,
Lots
but
of
it's
little
going to happen.
reasons, that's all.
Adding up to one great big fact, and you didn't even notice. It's not just this space station, it's the whole attitude, the way people think. The great
It's really weird how he's
human
decided to
empire
lie
story
down. I
is
can't
something
go
so
for it.
And how would you know?
He sounds like one of those
Humanity's
mad
been
people on
set
Question
back about
Time
90
who are
years.
just losing it. It's like,
When
this society's gone to the dogs.
91 years ago.
He's going to start preaching on the street with a megaphone. You're all sheep. You've all got holes in your heads.
This message, okay? Whatever you do.
Hey, it says die above his head. Die. Do you see it?
Oh my, yes, I do. Oh, dear.
Now it just says dicks. Okay, in comes a woman who definitely looks exactly like Tamsin Greig, but I'm not sure if it is.
That's a really good point.
You a student?
Yes, yeah.
Must be students. Must be.
Huh.
I'm on a research project from
I've only got A
the
levels.
University of Mars.
The Martian
Oh.
boondocks, typical.
Yeah,
Where
bloody
you still
ice
need
warriors.
chipping. One.
Oh, this is the scene where Jack gets his
inserted into
makeover.
the back of the skull.
It's the
One
same
is-
set.
Oh, it's the same. Oh my!
There's the
Wow,
chip.
my. Well, why not? It's the same
Because they're
place.
turning surgery into a game.
No
Yeah.
scarring.
Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Type 2 is
Yeah.
the full
Yeah,
infrared
oh.
spike.
oh,
Celebrities.
oh my goodness! You have
Calm
been
down,
pulling.
Rupert. Calm
You have
down.
been pulling out
It does
good
cost
stuff
10,000.
today. I tell you that, El. You have been. Oh my goodness! You've been just pulling my thigh bones
Turns
out.
Contractual guarantee.
I love the bit where he sticks up the ice cube.
No, my mate's going upstairs. I can't have major
It's
surgery.
really cool.
That's
Imagine
actually
what-
a really cool idea.
Takes 10
Yeah,
minutes.
exactly. Imagine the
That's
nights
if
out.
money buys a very fast
Oh.
eco-surgeon.
I don't know. I've seen the quantity.
More
some
ice
people can
waiter.
vomit out.
More
It's gonna-
more ice waiter.
Yeah. No need.
Type. You can interface with a simple computer. Type.
I don't know. You've seen how much some people can vomit up. I'm not sure if that would be good.
Yeah.
Get stuck in your
You
throat.
can transmit.
It's nothing to do with me. I'm going back to work.
Go on then, see ya.
I can't just leave you.
That was a cool weird close up of his face. That's close to the little into his face, I think. It's probably. Oh, this is the closest you ever get to him.
Something about it. I don't know. We keep asking me something to do with the turbines.
Look at all these disturbing close ups to make you feel disturbed. I feel like I'm in her mind right now.
Now, Rose, look at Rose. Rose is
Oh,
asking
name's
the right kind
Kafka,
of
I feel like.
Oh, thank you.
Why is it so hot?
Yeah.
Oh, one minute you're worried
Might
about
be too
the
hot.
Empire, and the next minute
Maybe we
it's
should go home.
meeting.
We all know what happens to non-entities.
His eyes look
promoted.
amazing there. He's a classic action figure.
Bring 'em up.
Yeah. Oh, I never had that one.
Here we go. But there's something wrong.
Well, I would look at the stock
Why, what
exchange.
is it?
Where is my money?
But then
I want my money. But
The
that will be in a
index
few
ice
episodes'
filters
time,
are
and it won't be me.
working flat
It'll
out.
be Alan.
Channel.
Click.
Oh. It'd be a really big problem for jazz singers. One of them in your head.
It would.
Muddled up in the mix.
It's a good
Well, don't
point. They
mention
should
my
make
name.
it.
When you get in
That is
trouble, just don't
definitely
involve me.
when we're in charge of Doctor Who, a scene we have to
Absolutely
do.
not.
Yeah.
Even up.
Just some guy in the audience just going, "Oh my God, stop!"
He's reasserted. So he's actually reasserted himself there. He's brought Adam along to prove that actually she should be interested in him in a way. I love that CG's actually quite impressive. Not the
Yeah,
actual
it
brain,
is.
but the him touching the thing.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Ring of your
That
throat.
just looks
In
like
the
a
event of
frozen
sickness.
mango, by the way. Or like
Well, he's obviously
kiwi.
eating a lot of mangoes.
Yeah, kiwi. Look,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
he's a healthy guy. He took food
Yeah.
tech. I adore this. I'll tell you what. Again, the CG environment above them is really cool. Like in Dalek, the museum, they've done a really good job with all that.
I started without you. This is fascinating.
Their chairs look a little bit.
Satellite 5 contains
low
every
five or
piece of
whatever.
information within the
Yeah, they're
full
definitely not the
range of
ones designed by Tom Perrelly when he won the
birth
Apprentice for
certificates,
making a
shopping
chair that would
habits, bank
stop your back
statements,
from
but you
hurting.
two,
Hey, you leave that guy
you
alone.
don't exist.
I love Tom Perrelly, don't get me wrong.
I've bought all of his chairs.
No birth, you're no one.
Do you reckon this is just meant to be like the sun?
It's so rare not to know something.
Yeah, it's absolutely
you?
supposed to be
It doesn't
Mr.
matter
Murdoch.
because we're off. Nice to meet you. Come on.
But I don't think people saw it as easily as, until afterwards. I'm not sure.
Who you are.
Well, I don't think at this point
keeping us alive, I'm
the
not gonna
Rupert
say
Murdoch phone
Well,
tapping thing had
perhaps my
happened yet.
editor-in-chief.
I tell you what, again, the graphics don't look bad. Oh, it's
They're
nice.
not great.
Really?
They're good when they have just the sort of the headshot, but other full
But
view
not
of
the
the
whole
ceiling,
body.
it
Yeah.
looks very kind of
Strange.
strange.
Well, it's weird. How did it get up there and why is it there? And when they built it, did they have to install him at that point? Can the Jagrafest become smaller and move around if it wants to?
What does it do for a quick getaway?
Yeah.
Like, if it only, it's like a slug, but only on the ceiling.
Let me out of these manacles. You'll find out how much fun I am.
Oh, he's tough, isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm the Doctor who punches people on this space station.
yeah, I'll ram you
Yeah.
into a
You've got to
wall.
admire him
Exactly.
a little
Hey,
on,
she's
Kafka.
back.
We have
Save
not
the
spoken
day.
about Kafka at all, and I feel like that's sad because Kafka's cool. She's fine. Here she is. Hey.
Watching Adam walking around is a bit like watching sort of like a psychopath in a horror
bit. All
movie.
over the surface of the earth like they're
Like you
so
sneak around,
individual.
like pretend to be normal, and as he's about to rip someone's head off.
In that
Yeah.
respect, the Jagrafest
It's really
hasn't
creepy.
changed a thing.
It's like in Red Dragon, where Ray Fiennes dresses up as a cleaner and walks around the place.
You're human,
Yeah, well, simply being human doesn't pay very well.
but you couldn't have done this all on
To
your
be
own.
fair, simply being human doesn't pay that well,
I represent a
apart from like the
consortium of
benefit
banks.
system. Like, because
Money
there's no like
prefers a
benefit
long-term
system for like
investment.
zebras, is there?
Also, the Jagrafest needed a little hand to
So you are actually paid
No
to
wonder a
exist.
creature that size. You pump it out the creature, channel it downstairs. Jagrafest stays cool, stays alive. Satellite 5 is one great big life support system.
This is Doctor Who's scariest use of air conditioning.
It's just going to sound like white noise, but save it because I can.
Translate it, okay?
It's Metal Machine music. I'm in a
Yeah,
experimental rock group.
One. And Spike.
it's avant-garde, all right.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who are you? That's so weird. Is this episode campy or not?
Leave her alone. I'm the doctor.
Very hard
She's
to
Rose
say.
Tyler.
It's sort of not.
Just what sent you? Who knows about
If it weren't for Simon Pegg, it wouldn't be very campy. But
Yeah. He's great though. Really. I love him.
Time Lord.
I can't ever really get over the fact that he's in it.
who's picking up that key?
I think it's like a magnet in the ceiling or something. Why do they?
Very,
Why do
very
Brace
slow at
doing
its
that?
job.
Today,
You and your
we
boyfriends, yeah.
are the headlines.
That's a great line.
We can rewrite history.
Headlines,
We
because
can
there are
prevent
lines going into their
mankind's
head.
developing.
And no one's going to stop.
Oh, sorry.
Because you've bred a human race which doesn't. They'll just trot right into the slaughterhouse if they're told it's made of.
Satellite 5 or Slaughterhouse 5? Am I right? Slaughterhouse
Am I
5 is a
right,
great
guys?
book, anyone. 8 out of 10. You fancy a read of a really great short book? Elle here would really enjoy it. Let us know in the comments if you have read Slaughterhouse 5.
Look at that. It's getting hot.
I said
It's
terminate.
working!
It's working! No, my burgers. Ah.
There's so many reaction shots of him reacting to the sparks.
Yeah.
There's about like
Ah!
4 reactions.
Ah! Yeah.
I'm terrified of sparks, even though I'm a huge fan of Coldplay in real life.
She's venting the heat up here.
'Cause
All
he's-
the artist sparks.
Yeah, true, true.
It's volcano day.
Yes, he loves volcanoes.
Moisturise me! Moisturise me!
Yeah.
Oh, which
Yay.
setting?
I've
Oh,
got
it's
an
just
app
going to
for it.
accidentally reconnect some barbed wire.
Oh, I love that. That's really cool.
See you there, lads.
This series loves the great one-liners.
Yeah.
Oh, I love how her dead body wants to kill him.
Yeah. Well, technically the Jagrafest is controlling them.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
it's actually the Jagrafest using her.
Good point. No. You've actually really restored a problem I had in my head canon. So
there you
thank
go.
you. That does perfectly work.
Yeah.
You called me Max. You shall die. Yeah, it does blow up a bit. Cassandra he loves blowing up aliens in the series.
What about your friend?
He's not my friend.
Don't.
Oh, look at that close-up shot. That's so all our friends in the north. Here we go.
It's all handheld.
Yeah, give it to him.
You were in charge.
I love that edit.
House. I'm home.
How he just goes in and comes out straight away.
Yeah.
This is so awkward.
Blimey. I thought you were going to chuck me out of an airlock.
Don't do what?
This is
Stop
brilliant.
All right now, Doctor, that's enough. Stop.
Even she has a go. She's like, I want to go.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't resist.
Imagine if Dobby was there. It was so irritating.
The whole of history will change because of you.
I just wanted to help.
One person clicks, Dobby disappears, the TARDIS doors open, and the guy's head comes open.
And I am, I really am, but
There's too much clicking.
like this.
Yes, I can, because if you show their head to anyone, they'll dissect you in seconds. I've got rolls.
Did Adam know what he was doing was wrong? Did he? Because it does matter
He's a
as to
moron.
whether... Yeah, but the Doctor's ruined his
It's me,
life.
Mum.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, he's going to have a really average life.
Adam's an adult. He's a grown man, making his own decisions.
He's like 23.
Yeah, grown man. I'm 23, what are you trying to say?
Are you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah!
You left the back door open.
Time flies just like that.
Oh, let me.
This is absolutely classic.
Oh,
Yeah.
6 months. It's like I saw you
I've got
yesterday.
something... Oh.
Isn't it funny? The time goes by like that.
Hey!
Come here, I want to dissect you now.
Yeah.
Your wish is my command.
Oh
Absolutely
my
brilliant.
goodness.
Oh my goodness, it's gonna... It's like they had to throw in a really weird episode because they knew they put like the two most horrible ones next to
Absolutely.
each other.
If you went from Dalek to this,
You
you'd
have-
be so
yeah.
depressed.
You have a horrible episode for the Doctor and then a horrible episode for Rose. So you have to have one in where you cement that actually, no, she does like him and she's not really interested in other boys, really.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true. I mean, there are a lot of series functions that aren't fulfilled by this episode.
Oh yeah,
They're
a
just
lot.
not necessarily ones that feel particularly important at the
There are
time
lots
watching
of
the
small
episode.
ones that are important. They're all
Yeah.
small, ticking all those small boxes. One sec, I'm just going to see if it was Tamsin Greig or not.
Tamsin, what?
Ah, it was! It was her! I was correct.
Oh, there you go.
If you want to look up who she is,
Hero.
she's a really famous woman, apparently.
Yeah, no,
She-
she's in loads of stuff.
Yeah, well, her name's Tamsin. It might not be pronounced like that, but I read
No,
it as
we
Tamsin
apologise
Greig.
if we've spelled that. We
Yeah.
said that incorrectly, but who well? Oh well.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. It's funny how
so-
much Father's Day is such a. I know I'm not. I shouldn't be talking about it, but it already looks from the next time like such a Moffat episode.
Yeah, well, it's
The way
really,
it's set
really
up.
confined. But
All weird time mechanics and stuff.
yeah, I mean, you say Moffat episode,
yeah.
but it's still very much a T. Davies one in terms of era. I know it's by Paul Cornell, but in
Yeah, I
terms
just mean
of
the story
the
itself.
way that it, yeah, but it's incredibly domestic.
Well, I guess so.
So I just want to say quickly, in canon, Adam, because at the time, I spent
Canon
about,
with a massive inverted commas.
yeah, I spent about 2 years as a kid thinking, oh, Adam's going to come back and have a huge grudge on the Doctor, and apparently in canon he does, and there's like a special, you know, they did the Doctor Who comics.
God. Yeah.
Well, apparently he comes back and he tries to take on the Doctor.
What?
In
the ninth
in
Doctor?
I think might be Matt Smith.
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it is. There's a guy who does good reviews of the comics and stuff on YouTube. We probably won't put it in the comments because I can't bother to find it. But
Yeah, that's really weird. Of all the characters, you want to bring back Adam.
yeah, but the thing is, everyone.
I'd rather bring back Suki or the other one.
No, but me and my sister were absolutely sure that he was going to come back because it is left as such the Doctor destroys his life. He really does. He's not nice to him, and I don't actually really think he did a good thing. It's cool though.
I disagree. I disagree completely.
Go on.
Because Adam is basically, he spends a lot of time in Dalek talking about how he wants to, go and explore the stars and do all these things. And the Doctor, gives them.
But really, he just does the Van Statten thing. He just wants to kind of strap it all down on Earth.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
exactly,
He
and just have it for himself.
Catalogue it exactly.
And there you go. But the Doctor didn't. The Doctor at the beginning of the episode was really nice to Adam. He was really respectful. He did everything for him. He didn't say, "Here you go, you idiot. Now go and do what you like." He's really nice to him, and Adam, proved himself like a lot of people would, I assume, to have been a bit of a moron and did
Yeah, he
something stupid.
failed his interview.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think the Doctor was nasty to him. He
So
wasn't
what
in the
happened?
End, but...
What happened was, is Adam. This is in canon. Adam kidnapped various companions from multiple incarnations of the Doctor. He worked with the Master to do this. So
what?
But when the spoilers, okay, when the Master made a plot to destroy the universe, Adam sacrificed his life to stop him. I'm not sure. Adam sacrificed his life to stop him and was buried.
I have a number of issues with that.
Well,
First, the Master.
Apparently, it's a really good one. I'm just saying. I've heard this is a really good comic.
Why would the Master do anything with Adam? Because the Master's a genius and Adam's a moron.
I understand. He's probably just utilising.
What's Adam's superpower? It's like,
Adam uses his head thing. I've got some pictures here of when he hacks into corporate accounts using his head thing.
So he's basically R2D2. He just goes and kneels on the floor and sort of rests his head against a door and sort of goes, waits for it to open. Oh, never mind. I have my head. Oh.
Save me, Master. You are my only hope. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
maybe
I can imagine
he ends
the
up
Master
a bit like
just taking off his head, basically, just taking that with him. But,
yeah.
Oh goodness sake! I want to know what companions he took.
So he takes. Give me a sec. Oh, he kidnaps Clara.
Well, that'd be easy.
Martha.
No, there is no way Martha would fall for that shit. Martha would just been like, right, you're an idiot. I'm out.
Rose. He kidnaps Rose.
What?
Grace Holloway from the movie Ace.
Oh, again, Grace. She's like, all right, whatever.
Oh,
Ace, really?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Ace would have beaten the shit out of him.
Absolutely. Ace would have just blown him up with Nitro 9.
Frobisher,
the penguin.
Penguin? Wait. There's a penguin?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so I was talking about this when we were talking about Mr. Chicken. Good man, Mr. Chicken. Yeah, there's a penguin guy called Frobisher. Apparently, he's like genuinely meant to be a really classic Who companion. I think he's basically a penguin equivalent of K9, but I've never actually really listened to any of his stuff yet. And he kidnaps like Tegan, Nyssa, and Adric from Fifth Doctor. This guy's prolific. Here's another one. He kidnaps K9 and Leela, and both of those are like absolutely savage people. Basically, he just kidnaps
you can't
everyone.
capture Ace and Martha and all that. And you can't do that without them being smart, outsmarting him.
Well, he works with the Master to do it, but he basically does this over a whole series of comic books. There's loads of different ones. He works as well with he does stuff in the Black Archive. He works with the Cybermen, and there's Time Agents, and there's Vizabi, who are giant ants in the
This
First
all
Doctor.
sounds great, except for Adam. Why is Adam in this? This sounds like a great, like, silly comic book master story.
Yeah,
or
well, I've heard that it's a genuinely really good thing. I've heard great things about this.
Or why not use? There's so many side characters in this series alone. You could use Van Statten. Van Statten would be a great one because he's a collector of alien things. So basically, following the Doctor's past and taking all of his stuff, basically.
Yeah.
And people, that'd be a great through line. But Adam is just I don't get it. It's just him with his hairdryer running around going shooting at people.
Oh wow, he's one of 2 television companions to have no scenes in the TARDIS interior. The other one being Harry from the Fourth Doctor. He's never seen he goes in the TARDIS, but you never see a scene with him in the TARDIS.
Harry was meant to be in quite a lot of episodes.
He's in a whole series, yeah.
He's in Ark in Space and the Sontaran.
Yeah, he's in the whole of Tom Baker's first series.
So, are there not many shots of the inside of the TARDIS?
Well, I tell you what, actually, after Ark in Space, they have to find the TARDIS again, don't they? Because there's like 3 whole episodes without the TARDIS. Might be 4. So to be fair, that's probably why. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So, right, I think we should probably
talk about the episode now.
Sorry,
I'm just
I think that this is an episode that I think is better to think about than it is to watch. Now, it is enjoyable, but I think it earns more points in retrospect than it would have done at the time on its own merits. I think weirdly, because it does actually address a lot of things which were starting to brew at the time, but did become prolific until now. Because we do have some nations where people have chips in either their arms or near their heads and stuff, and the whole streaming of information and just basically numbing people to truth and accepting things that they're given from one source. It's a lot of really interesting stuff that's actually handled, I think, really well. It's just
it is, yeah.
It's a really strange episode. You can't escape the fact that it is doing that very obvious thing that you pointed out at the end, where it's bridging the gap between two very serious episodes. And it does find a good reason to do it with like you say, showing that Adam's a poor example of a companion, and how to do things well and badly. And it's got Simon Pegg, who's really good. Jagrafess is a pretty uninteresting but kind of cool.
The Jagrafess is the first not classic villain in Navy.
Yeah. I mean, the editor is the only one who's actually interesting. Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily say the editor is classic because he's not an interesting idea, really. But
he's Simon Pegg.
But Pegg absolutely sells it, so it makes it completely worth it. I do think that. We'll have to see, but I would say with confidence at this point, this is definitely the least good episode in this series.
Yeah, I used to think it was Unquiet Dead, but I think I have to agree.
Unquiet Dead has got more classic stuff to it. As we said, because we gave it a low 8, didn't we?
It's also paced quite weirdly.
It's not badly paced though. It's not boring. Again, to be fair, I don't feel like I sat down for 45 minutes. I still feel like it was more half an hour.
I don't think it was paced badly. I think it was paced weirdly. Because it is very much sort of the first half an hour is basically just everyone walking about going, well, what's that? Let's go to a room and find out what's going on.
Yeah, to be fair, nothing really happens.
No,
because what happens is you're kind of seeing people trying to bring down the conspiracy, and then it doesn't work. And then so what all the Doctor and Rose do is they go to a room to see how stuff works, and then they go upstairs, and then once they figure out how to get there, and then when they're upstairs, they get captured, and then they blow the place up.
Do I think it's really weird? Is Suki, it feels so much like, and I've forgotten the name of the character in the Planet of the Ood, where it's just like she turns up, she's like, oh, actually, I'm a double agent, I'm going to kill you, and then they just get murdered immediately.
Yeah.
Who's the guy in the Planet of the Ood who's just like, oh, I've been spending 15 years wheeling my way to get at you, and he just gets chucked into the brain and he's dead.
Oh, stop it! It's really sad.
It's like, oh. Okay, right. I mean, I appreciate that for a character, they have to show that a character is disposed of. It's really weird that they just do that. Whoever filmed that, they just put her in some ill-fitting green military outfit, gave her a gun, and just say, pretend to shoot and scream.
Yeah, it was the...
She's just there holding it in front of her, going, ah!
Was it the same director who made, the Doctor's Daughter or something? Because the gun work in that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
With the Bunsen burners.
Oh, God, yeah. That's so funny.
But yeah, I mean, it's what you're going to say. I was just going to say that the other reason there might be pacing issues is because it's two stories in one. Because the Adam story only ends up linking to the Doctor story at the end. I tell you what, the more I think about this, the less good it is. Weird. Because the thing is, you still have great performances. I think Rose is pretty good in this. You still have
she's
everyone's
characteristically inconsistent, though.
Do you think?
I think so. Yeah, because and the thing is, half the time they make a point of how Rose is now, ever since Dalek. We pointed this out in Dalek, how she has now come into her own. She can handle herself. She knows the ropes and everything. And in this one, half the time that's true, and then half the time she's sort of being almost swept off her feet by Adam, who's obviously a bit of a pathetic weasel, for want of a better phrase.
I didn't read it like that. I read it more that she felt a bit awkward that she brought him along, and
why did she?
Because she likes the attention. She wanted to show off what she'd found to someone.
Yeah, and it's weird that the Doctor even entertained that.
No, I thought it's completely bizarre. Which is why. But then obviously he's got a nice moment where he holds her hand. Is that the first time he holds her hand?
No, they did it in the End of the World.
Of course they do.
But it's still nice,
Yeah, I think
they still make their relationship really well done. The thing is, and our complaints to this episode are relative because the dialogue was still really good. I still think all the themes are really well balanced. Nothing about it is completely in your face. There's no.
It's still a solidly nonsense. Quite good dystopian sci-fi thing. It's not.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Everything that is not good about it is more like limited goodness or strange decisions but they don't act against the episode being an enjoyable, insightful thing. Not at all.
It's confused because it's potential.
Yeah.
It has greater potential than the execution.
I'm not sure if it does.
I think it does. No,
No, I don't think you could execute this better. I just don't think it is. I don't think the idea is that necessarily amazing.
I think they could have focused it better because
Yes,
of having
yes,
Adam
okay,
there.
yes. Sorry, yeah.
They could have had a story that is all about news and information and stuff. And
Yeah,
they,
well,
and
they could have
hit
made
all
it
the
a bit
narrative
more
beats
like
pretty
the.
well, but
It reminds me a bit of the Happiness Patrol with Sylvester McCoy. This one, the whole kind of all of those people in this weird.
actually,
place.
the Smilers from Smile actually as well.
Reminds you
The
of that?
smiling robot, the emoji robots.
Yeah.
They kind of have, it's a similar thing, where the how they in a similar vein to this, they use social media culture to show, a problem with society in the future for humans.
Yeah.
But it's again, it's kind of delivered.
Oh, I
weirdly.
do see what you mean, because both of them
Yeah.
just do it weirdly and with things that will probably be outdated at some point. So,
Yeah, but this has aged
the streaming thing
way
is
better.
interesting. Oh
This
yeah,
thing has aged way better.
and
than,
Smile obviously came out like 2 years ago or something, maybe
something like
3.
that. Yeah, that
3
is
years
a new
ago.
age as well. Why would you base an episode around emojis?
Because it's so woke, man.
Because it's not
Woke who?
It's just people
Dr.
assuming
Woke.
that that's going to be a. I wouldn't even say that's not really a woke thing. That's just
Totally.
yeah, it's really bizarre. It'll be like if they made an episode
Check your
based
internet
on
history, man.
on Pokemon cards or Baneblades. It's like just basing things on fads. It's like, why would you? It's a terrible idea.
Fidget spinners.
So-
The fidget
yeah, it's
spinner becomes incredibly important.
Yeah, in the future, all spaceships are just like fidget spinners.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's what the future's gonna look like, isn't it, guys? It's very hard to write for future things, but you have got to avoid silly things like that.
I did always feel. Okay, I used to look over like what do I think's better, past episodes or future episodes, and I always used. This isn't true anymore. I mean, this was true until Matt Smith. I always used to be a lot more excited for a past Doctor episode because there was so much more.
Really?
I felt when I was a child there was a lot more consistency in the episodes set in the past. If it was a past episode, me and my dad would look at each other and say, "That's going to be scary."
That's interesting.
But I think to some extent that's true, possibly.
How scary would you say this episode is?
It's a bit. It's not necessarily scary, but I mean,
I think it
ideas
could
that
have
are
been
scary.
scarier.
The dead people being animated by the Jagrafess is a bit scary. I genuinely just think the look of the set design and the music upstairs feels quite serious. You're like, oh, this is dark. This is nasty stuff. You do take that quite seriously. Even when I watch it now, whenever they're walking around that set upstairs, I'm like, this is an awesome set. This looks really creepy and horrible. I wouldn't necessarily say it's scary, but because all the future episodes in T. Davies, because he has quite camp future ideas. Like, for example, Gridlock is a great episode in the future, but the ideas are quite strange.
He does that better because when you want to give off that kind of tone, you want to give off the idea that everyone seems happy, but under the surface, something's not right. Which Gridlock does extremely well.
It does that quite literally.
Especially with the drugs, yeah, of course.
Yeah, the drug stuff's really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
but in
and
this
Gridlock
episode
is doing something where it's making, making a very normal thing. Oh, I'm stuck in a traffic jam, making it really scary.
Yeah.
Scary idea.
But in this one, it's sort of like everyone's sort of cheerful, and the whole point is because they're blindly listening to the news and whatever, and that does work narratively, in that sense. But then when you go upstairs and start being really serious about how this is all dreadful, it's kind of hard to get a sense of how dreadful it really is because no one downstairs seems like they're in trouble or having an awful time. Basically, the whole villain of the episode is only a villain on principle. In a way, they haven't.
Obviously, we'll later find out that the Doctor doing this has caused all kinds of problems.
Yeah, but actually, it's funny that because it wasn't really the Doctor. Well, it sort of was. I know it was. I was going to say it's Adam. But then the Doctor had to undo something.
He had to work with Kafka, didn't he? He had to.
What is it the Doctor actually did? That's actually something that I don't. I've really just watched it. Like, what did he actually do to cause the problems in Bad Wolf? He erased something, didn't he?
No, getting rid of the Jagrafess because it's a bit like going into the Iraq War and getting rid of the dictator and that's great, but not really leaving like a system after. So because you didn't leave a good system, it meant that a country kind of goes into its own little war.
So that's interesting.
Maybe it's that kind of thing.
That's interesting because so when the Doctor turns up and he says this is wrong, history's wrong, he thinks that the Jagrafess is what's causing it. So when he gets rid of the Jagrafess, he's like, okay, history's corrected. But actually, they're then turning that on the head later is that the Daleks must have installed the Jagrafess.
Oh, is that actually what the idea is?
I think so, yeah. Because obviously the Daleks.
Can you write that down somewhere? Because I want to double check that. 'Cause if that's true, that's great. I just never really thought about it.
Yeah, because if the Daleks installed the Jagrafess as the one to basically rule over that, because obviously the whole point is that the Daleks are sort of taking all the dead people from the what do you call it, the Great Bountiful Human Empire thing, and turning them into Daleks. That's the point.
Oh my
but
goodness.
They're doing it from
that's how they're rebuilding it
from behind. But they're using satellite
I
phones
didn't
to block
realise
the signal
it
to their ships.
Yeah, I didn't realise it went back that far.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
I've just been taking the Jagrafess at face value.
Yeah. So actually, no, that's okay. So that does actually make sense now. Because at first I was a bit confused. Because the whole point is that history was wrong when he turned up. So he thought he was correcting it, but he's only just changed a small strand of it.
I still think, even though your idea is amazing, I still think we're going to have to fact check that.
Well, maybe, but I mean, there's none of it needed. I mean, unless because what's the assumption otherwise that the Jagrafess leaves and the Daleks just happen to turn up then, and then they're doing their evil plan in the exact same place. It makes more sense.
When's this set? 200,000.
Oh, I can't remember.
I think it's
Have a look at it. It's something like that. Yeah. No,
I'm just trying to think
I think 200,000 is bad. Oh no, because it's only. I can't remember how many years it is.
There's 200,000 because it's 100 years, just 100 years.
So yeah, it'll be 200. It'll be 200. It's either 100,000 or 200,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
it might be. Yeah.
So there you go. It's one of those, but for sure. But no, it's actually. It does work as a series narrative. The only problem is it doesn't feel like that until the end. I think you can look back on the long game better once you finish the series because it's like, oh look, it's Satellite 5, that's cool. But what that comes down to is, could you watch Bad Wolf having not watched the long game and still have everything make sense and everything?
Yeah.
You just have to introduce Satellite 5 somehow. Yeah, it's tricky, really. I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go on. I was just going to do our normal thing, but
yeah.
carry on your point.
No. So was I. I was just thinking it's so hard. I'm finding it extremely difficult to actually discuss this episode. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, I think we've kind of put down what it was. I love how on the cast list, the third highest, paid. Well, I don't know if he's paid more, but he was billed higher than Kathika and Suki, and Simon Pegg and Tamsin Gregan in the bottom. Is the head chef? Head chef Colin. Oh my goodness. The guy who makes Kronkburger.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought it said Pronk. It says Proctor. His last name's Proctor. I thought it said Pronctor.
Okay.
That would have been cool. Oh well. Oh well. Suki's last name's double barreled. Sorry, carry on.
She's probably my. Oh, no, not Suki. Who's the other one? Who saves the day in the end?
Oh, Kathika. I like her.
Yeah, she's probably my favourite secondary character, unless we're counting Simon Pegg.
Oh well, I mean, definitely the best performance is Simon Pegg as a character who isn't Billy Piper or Eccleston. It's definitely Pegg.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's excellent.
Favourite scene?
Favourite scene? See, here's another reason why this episode doesn't seem that amazing. I don't know. One scene kind of sticks out to me.
Well, every scene is like very good. Like there's no and the classic scenes are kind of classic because they're funny. Like, so obviously the bit where he goes home and they're all clicking the head is quite funny, but I couldn't go saying that's the best scene.
I would probably say the best scene is.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe when she first opens her head. Where she opens her head first.
Yeah, that is, and it's a classic scene because it introduces that. But that's the only reason why it is. I do really like the first scene when they turn up and all the markets open and stuff, and they're walking around eating and taking out cash. It feels very.
I really like the location. They do a great job in this episode of setting up that location and making you feel like you understand it and the vague geography of it.
Yeah,
and like you say, they use sets that they're gonna use again later on.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. So then
it is. It's not done that often, actually, is it? In Other Who?
No,
it's hard to say, really.
Let me think.
It's a nice
the Ark in
thing.
Space. The Ark in Space is the other time where they go there multiple times. They go back to it in Revenge of the Cybermen. And the
that's
Cybermen
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mad.
I suppose the Black Archive is one. They go back to that in the Day of the Doctor.
Yeah.
After having been there.
No,
they were first there, Day of the Doctor, and then they go back into the Zygon.
Yeah, because it's a Zygon thing. It's like a Zygon,
trilogy. Yeah. It's kind of like that.
I really don't know what my favourite.
Scene is.
Yeah.
It's so tricky.
I quite like the bit where he throws up the Kiwi-looking thing. See what I mean? It's all like weird little... I do think the bit where they finally get upstairs and they walk around, and I love it when the camera's moving in on those like dead bodies around the old table. In fact, that's probably no. I'm voting that as my favourite bit.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool.
That's fair enough.
Really, really cool. Have we got anything else we want to say?
I'm sorry,
listeners.
Yeah, this is just us going. It's really hard to articulate why this episode isn't like a mess, because it isn't a mess, but it's not like it's bad. It's just
it doesn't feel that messy. It's not messy. It doesn't lose too. It's just focused on two different things at once.
Yeah,
but the two things do converge, so it doesn't feel messy. And it's just difficult to work out what the main plot is. I guess is the main plot Adam or the Jagrafest. You have to assume it's the Jagrafest.
Adam's really only there because, it's because obviously the thing about Doctor Who in Classic Who is that there's almost always more than one companion, and they do move around the place. Yeah, obviously then
that's true.
The Doctor picks up, another companion later in the series. One of the best companions.
Yeah.
Ever,
yeah. Well, I would say second best companion of it. So.
I don't know. I couldn't really rank them, but he's definitely in the top 3 to 5.
I really respect that you said that. It's made me very happy.
Yeah, of course he is.
He's quality. Yeah.
If he'd have been in this episode, would have been great.
Yeah, it's true. Like anything he's in is always better.
I know he was, because we see him, don't we? On the screens.
Oh yeah, technically
because he's
was,
pregnant.
Yeah.
That little minx. Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Man. Okay, so shall we just rate the episode and then I'll go off, have dinner and have a Kronkburger?
Yeah. Out of 10, I'm going to say it's a middle of the road 7.
Yes, I do. Are you sure it's not a high 6?
It could be. It's pushing towards low 7 territory. I agree.
I do think
it's really good though, because it's.
There's a problem because Eccleston is so great.
Yeah, and that's kind of it.
The feeling of it still feels really good.
I think if I'd rated
it, I'm going to go for a low 7.
Okay, if I'd rated it back in 2004 or 5, is it 5? 2005. I would have given it a mid 6, but and maybe that's what I should give it, but because of I don't know, it's tapped in really well with technological culture of society, 15 years into the future even.
Yeah, the episode is raised a lot by the fact that T. Davies had planned his series so rigorously.
Absolutely.
There's no episode in the series that doesn't add to the whole thing.
Yeah.
In a really rigorous, well done episode to episode way.
It's just that what this adds is less. Yeah,
it's less important, but it's still
less
important.
Character and more.
And for that reason, because it's still a decent part of such a strong whole. It genuinely does raise it.
It contributes more world building than it does character. That's essentially what it is.
Yeah, but if it was just yes, I agree. But if it was just a random offcut. So later on in Doctor Who, we just get random off-cut episodes, and that's fine. It's fine that the Crimson Horror doesn't add much to Doctor Who. But it means that you think of it differently.
Yeah, sometimes filler can be made into something amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Or something certainly interesting. Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, perhaps. Where it's really fun and it's a really cool thing.
That's technically filler, isn't
it?
But it's
actually, to be fair, you're 100% right there.
So it's like,
Yeah, and also there's bad filler. I'm just trying to think of examples. I can't remember.
Vera,
I don't know if
it's not bad, but it's not great.
Yeah, but it's not great.
Exactly.
It's not great. But because it's not adding to the entire series, it's a short story within an overall thing.
Yeah.
This still contributes to the series so much, in a weird way, that it does get raised. I think, and I think that's why me and you still think that it's really good.
It's raised by the fact that it's in Series 1.
It's just a really low level of really good.
It's raised because it's in Series 1, and therefore it has the Series 1 perks. It's lucky, essentially.
Yeah.
That it exists in the right sphere of
influence. If this was a Tennant episode,
ooh,
and it didn't link in, it wasn't doing this. It wasn't so rigorously tied into everything in a way that felt like great writing.
The closest,
then it would be a 6.
The closest I can think of as a comparison would be The Beast Below. For a type of episode and how it feels.
I do think. I tell you what, The Beast Below as well. I would give a very low 7, and I think it's about as good as this.
So that's a good point.
I tell you what, they're both about, and they're both like about. Oh, the human race has been stunted for some reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? Let's figure it out. I'm on a ship.
And it's also about exploring
no
what
aliens.
what a good companion should be doing.
Yeah.
So, okay, no, I'll settle on the low 7 then.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to take that risk and
Great.
go low 7 rather than high 6.
It's just about on the cusp of being very good, but it's not like I wouldn't brag about it to anyone.
No, but if someone said they watched it, but oh, did you like it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like looking for a. There's no real negatives to it. That's the problem. That they're like they're not.
Yeah.
There's I can't be like, oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. There's nothing here I don't like.
Mm.
And that's the reason.
True.
I still think it's really good. There's literally nothing here I don't like. It's just that it could have possibly been better.
Well,
there you go.
So we've had us being confused this week. Next week we've got us being really sad. So that's going to be... It's just assaulting our senses doing this.
We're going to be really sad, and then we're going to be talking about Freud for 2 weeks while we, clench over a new companion. And then we're probably going to be very confused again, but in a way that we find very funny. And then we're probably going to be very confused whilst also being very scared and thinking it's really cool. And then after that, finally, we're just going to be drooling. So, I mean, that's the series summary from now on.
You done? Good?
Yeah, I should be back home in time for Russell T.
Alright. Cheerio. This has been Outta 10. Thank you so much for listening, and quite frankly, I'm as shocked as you are that we're still doing this. If, by some miracle, you've enjoyed this, do leave a comment, or give a suggestion for what we should talk about next. You can also find us on Twitter at Outta_10, or send us an email to outta10podcast@gmail.com. We hope you can join us for our next review of Doctor Who, and do keep an eye out for some film and music discussions coming up in the following weeks. See you soon.
You need to cut out the bit about the ginger kid. You can't talk about gingers like that these days.
Absolutely can.
You cannot.
Of course I can.
Well, you can, but it's not me.
Well, I know it's not you.
You just got to remember my rock career's on the line.